This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Welcome to my Ultraman Zett 10 review, which I'm calling Ultra-Cutup. This episode features a horror heist, boss, Baco, and seeds of destruction. This episode was a lot of fun and gave me some thoughts on how to make the show in general, better. Find out why, or how, or what, as I address a few topics that caught my attention. So, the first topic, or first thing to discuss, is Human Puppet 2, Strings of Terror. And if you watched episode 9, you'll know why I'm calling this Human Puppet 2, because we saw a lot of human puppeteering, or we saw minimal human puppeteering going on in that episode. In this, we get, I think, at least 2 people who were puppeteered, and then there's a bonus hypnotism if you want to count that, but it's done to an Ultraman, not a human. So, but yeah, the horror elements and the scariness of this alien Barossa were dialed up to 11 when the actress for Yoko was doing her like zombified brain control walk. Like, it almost looks like he's holding her up by her skull with his hand squeezing on it. And actually, I got a lot more stuff to say about Barossa, but I think I'll say that till a little. Yeah, I'll say that for my next point. But like the actress's performance, she looked like she was a zombie, like she was being controlled by her head. I took an acting class in college in JC, and the lady who was teaching us told us, I guess the drama teacher, she said, some people walk differently. And what do you mean people walk? Yeah, some people walk from their toes, some people walk from their heels, some people walk from their knees or their hips or their shoulders or different parts of their body. And you can affect a different character in yourself if you're trying to, be a real thespian by giving your characters a particular walk or, lead or thing that they lead by when they walk. And that helps to embody something different. And it was really interesting because we did this exercise, and long story short, I did different walks and I felt different ways. And I thought, I guess if I really want to do this, I could lean into a character. I could be a hero, I could be a villain, I could do this, I could do that, whatever. And whatever that lady did to change her walk up, it was really cool because it didn't look human, it didn't look natural, it didn't look alive, it didn't look like Yoko at all. It looked like someone else, it looked like something else. And that was very effective, so super cool. And then, again, this is a bad guy, right? A pirate, an alien who's willing to kill people for stuff, for treasure, really. Barossa threatens Yuka that he'll crush Yoko's skull if he and kill her if she doesn't help by releasing King Joe. And what was really neat about that was the way that the actress was performing. I couldn't tell if he was able to dial up his sync or his connection with Yoko to control her, to have her say, do you even care about me, or whatever. She yelled at Yuka to get her to, release her, or release King Joe to release her. I feel like that was definitely Alien Barossa just doing a better job of what he was doing, because the standard effect for Barossa to control somebody is they have like dead eyes, they're kind of slack-jawed, they're barely talking, and there's a very synthesized voice effect going on. But then that all went away, and this was the actress performing as if Yoko was out of her mind in pain and terror and wanted help. And either way you slice it, it's really creepy and awful and wonderful, because either she really was so much out of herself, because she's a very heroic, noble character, that she was willing, or that she was at that place where she was so desperate for Yuka to release her that she said the thing she said, or Barossa was able to so overpower her and, I guess, overwrite her will or whatever, that he was able to puppeteer her in such a masterful way with such finesse. And either way, it's creepy, like I said. So that was really neat. Pirate Ship Revenge. This pirate, Alien Barossa, wanted treasure, has a bunch of swords, has a bunch of weapons, has a bunch of items from different kaiju, which is super cool to think about, and is here on Earth, or still here on Earth, because they want King Joe back, because King Joe is his ship, and yeah, that's kind of it. King Joe's his ship, he wants it back, and that's why I made the joke of Pirate Ship Revenge. He's also enacting revenge on these humans who took his ship. It's really cool that he has all these different weapons that we get to see. He's got some sort of blaster. We get to see by the end of the episode he's got a dozen swords or so, which is pretty cool. And then we also get to see Ah, that's what I was thinking about. Okay. And then we also get to see that he has the hair of some kaiju that enables him to become invisible, which was incredible. And, yeah, I don't know. See, I didn't catch it. Last episode, I thought that Ultraman Zett totally grabbed all the medals away from Barossa as he was trying to pull them to him. But maybe I was wrong, because he dropped 3 medals this episode, which enabled the power-up weapon. And I don't know if those were supposed to be other medals that he had, and he was just going for 3 more to make at least 6 in his possession, or what the deal was with that. But, you know, definitely a pirate, and his cutthroatness and his, I guess, cleverness and infiltration and things like that all speak well to this guy being a pirate who ravages and raids and steals things from people through, you know, force, and it's pretty intense. So that was cool. Speaking of power, Bako makes a comment in passing about too much power, and it's about King Joe, and he's not sure man's ready to have this kind of power yet. And it kind of ties into last episode. At the end, there was this ominous shot of part of the King Joe wreckage being carted off to Storage's facility, to Storage's storage facility, in order for them to work on it and make this, you know, new mech that they're going to make. And that's interesting. But then Barossa's hand shot up out of the debris, and it seemed like he was going to be trouble, which he proved to be in this episode. So was that ominous stuff about that, or was it talking about something with King Joe's power? It might be. There's kind of a lot happening, a lot of stuff going quickly in these episodes, as much as so I'm not going to lie about it. 8 and 9 I thought were kind of weak. 10 I thought was very strong, but it was very narrowly focused, and there were a lot of little things that went by that almost felt like they might be seeds planted for the future. I don't know for sure that that's what they are. I think I vaguely remember from watching it previously, yes, but as far as this goes, they could just be asides or little things that are mentioned and not brought up again, but we don't really know that yet, and we'll have to see what happened. So I don't know what to do with that, but just kind of something interesting to note. But I wonder, you know, what's Bako saying, and how dangerous will this technology be? And it's kind of funny because right now in 2023, we're in the era of everybody being afraid of ChatGPT and the other AI things, even though I hear some people saying, no, it's not really true AI, it's just a language model. But then there's this author I listen to, she says, no, ChatGPT 4 is great, and I can co-write with this thing, and it's amazing. And I'm more of the opinion that everything is up to how it's used, and I'm not scared of it, but I also want to learn about it so I can better understand it, so I can use it properly, which I guess, maybe Bako's saying, hey, we need to slow down, because mankind didn't develop this technology. Yuka brings up certain technologies, the Industrial Revolution and other things that mankind adapted to for the better. And I think there's a lot of strong arguments you could make to say that the Industrial Revolution made things a little worse in some ways, but I'm a capitalist, and I'm pro human flourishing. So to the degrees that it contributed to human flourishing, that's great. But then again, there's a lot of things that were said to have been made for human flourishing or human betterment that I think ultimately we're seeing now had the unintended consequences, or maybe they were intended, or maybe they are being co-opted and are now intended to inflict harm on people that are, conveniences, modern conveniences and modern miracles that are actually causing very deleterious effects on health and other things that, people need to take ownership of their own lives and, get away from those things or rectify them for themselves and their families. And that's kind of all you can do, because I don't think you can change the system. And there should be a law to make this better isn't really a good thing, because that's a kind of power that gets out of hand that people can't really control or maintain in a way that's productive to human flourishing. But I'm not getting on a soapbox right now, so I will continue and talk about the blue collar heroes. I love that Bako, this older guy, 50s, 60s, probably 60s with how much white hair he has, but then again, he could be like a Steve Martin. Not Godzilla's Steve Martin, but stupid. But Steve Martin, like the jerk Steve Martin, Little Shop of Horrors Steve Martin. Anyway, but yeah, he basically tells these 3 young guys that are with him, hey, you guys leave, you get out of here, you go, I'll handle this on my own. And they tell him, no, we're proud members of the mechanic squad here, and we're going to help you. And he's proud of them, and they work together, and it was just really wonderful, heartwarming feeling. Like, these guys are surrounded by this technology. There's questions of what's going to happen with the tech and whatever. And there's this, evil alien doing this, terrible stuff. And yet they're pulling together. They're using their humanity and like the goodness that is in humans to like stand with this guy who was nobly going to basically sacrifice himself for them. And then they're saying, no, we're going to be here and not just abandon you and leave you to this fate. We're here for you, and we're going to help you in whatever capacity we can. Now, they didn't really help that much, but the little that they did, I think, is not, it's nothing to sneeze at. So it's just he's older, wiser. We see he has some combat prowess. So he's crafty, and he comes up with a cool plan to distract Barossa, and it in fact gets him almost defeated, which was really cool, especially because they did it just with manpower. Haruki and Bako teamed up to do this thing with electricity and liquid, and it was really cool. It was really a great moment. And then Alien Barossa is very silly and very serious. Like I said, he is willing to murder people. He's doing this horror stuff where he's controlling people's bodies, and it's just not a good. It's not a good look. It's not a good. Well, no, it is good. It's bad what he's doing, but he's very good at being bad, and it's that's a good thing, right? You get what I'm saying? He's effectively being a bad guy, and that's great for the show, and that's great for the evil character. But he's also silly, and I think I mentioned that I called this Ultra-Cutup because it's funny, and there's jokes, and there's humor in his. I guess in his depravity and in his, I don't know, he's almost got like this cartoon violence type vibe going on. And like when he starts throwing the dirt in Zett's face and he, gets dirt in his eyes and stuff. I'm going to put some dirt in your eye. I really like Spider-Man. Some of the memes are great. Anyway, so yeah, that was, it's interesting how they played with that and how I wasn't bothered by that shifting in tone at all. But it was just interesting how they played with him and made him this, really, really bad, wicked character who's doing bad things and, enjoying hurting people because it makes him happy to be bad. And, I don't know, it was just really interesting and fun. And I thought it was a cool thing that they did with him. And, I don't know what more to say to that other than I guess I wanted to comment on it because some people could be irritated by the zaniness, but the zany evil killer, it works for me, at least in this context with this guy. Okay, so one last major thing for me to address, which is Too Much Power Part 2, the problem with Ultra Fusion and how I would fix it. And FYI, or maybe it's FMI for my information, according to Haruki's Ultra Navi, Jack and Zero have ornamental weapons. So he says that Jack, just like Master Zero, has a bracelet that he turns into a weapon, or several different types of weapons. And I find that interesting because part of how I would fix the problems I have with Zett is I would make the Zett Riser the Metal Riser, which I've talked about previously, and I would also eliminate. I would eliminate the forms. There would be Vanilla Zett, and then there would be like the Alpha Edge version. Actually, if I had to just go to one alternate form, I would make it Gamma Future. Gamma Future looks so cool. That's what I would do. I don't really I understand, I basically understand the beta capsule in the case of the original Ultraman. The beta capsule was the device that allowed Shin Hayata to become Ultraman. Somehow it channeled his power or whatever, and then it activated within him in order for him to, for them to become giant and fight kaiju and stuff. Now, the Metal Riser could simply be the same thing. It could in and of itself be the thing that makes it so that the Metal Riser without any metals in it could be the thing. Well, hold on, let me back up real quick. It could be the transformation device by itself, and that's it. Just it itself with no metals in it could be the transformation device, and I'll come back to that. But the thing I have about Too Much Power is it feels like we're getting power up after power up after power up. Last episode 8, or rather episode 9, he attained 3 metals that Zett did not know what their function was. He forgot, conveniently. He didn't need to get those medals at the time. I think we were shown who, there was Mebius and a couple other people, I don't know who though, but those medals were shown, and they were not able to be utilized because he didn't know what they were for. However, the previous episode, episode 8, he'd just gotten 3 more medals, which unlocked the Gamma Future form. So we've got at least 9 medals now for the 3 forms that he has: Alpha Edge, Beta Smash, and Gamma Future. Then we have 3 more, so now we have a total of 12 medals, and then we have 15. We have 3 more in this episode, so that there are now 15 medals that he has spread across 3 forms and this super weapon, and then 1 unknown one. And it just feels like too much. It's ill-defined in the beginning of the show on purpose what the medals are for, except for somehow these medals are able to be utilized to counteract the Devil Splinters. I guess you could say if the Devil Splinters are fragments of Belial, or Belial cells, or however specific they want to get on it, talk about splitting the hairs on a gnat's behind, then these Ultra medals, which have the essence of various Ultramen, are a Land of Light or a light-powered countermeasure to the Devil Splinters, which that I'm fine with, and that does make sense. However, I guess it hasn't fully been defined how the Belial Splinters, the Devil Splinters, infect kaiju and make them run rampant. I believe that's how that goes. So, being that that's a darkness-fueled power or energy, it makes sense that they would corrupt and warp and I guess forcibly alter a kaiju so that they went rogue, went bad, went on a rampage. Now, you wouldn't want to have the Ultraman, the Ultra Metals being the counter to that, have the same effect where they infected somebody, for lack of a better word, and made them good, made them do random acts of kindness, or neutralize their evil or whatever. You would just want to have them be a channel to opening of power from past Ultramen. And that makes sense, so I would keep that, and I would keep the Metal Riser, but it's just, there's too much too soon, and it doesn't really make sense why he would switch to all these forms. Like, they can all fly, they can all fight. He also has the power of that spear, the ancient spear for Pegala or whatever, left by an ancient Ultraman, which that's a cool idea, but I feel like and then we got to see Riku Geed, using his Zett Riser as a weapon in and of itself, a blade-like weapon, and we get to see Gamma Future in this episode using it as a blade-like weapon, and then it literally, when it gets these other powers, or these other Ultra Metals in it, which these ones are Father of Ultra, Zafi, and I don't know who else, but anyway, when he gets these ones, and it activates the sword mode, or whatever you want to call it, of the Zett Riser, it occurred to me, I know how to fix this. You could, instead of going back to the theme of the show, or a thematic element in the characters and their setup, Zero calls Zett a 1/3 hero, and you could have a situation where the Ultra Metals do maybe different things for different people, or at least specifically with Zett, they give him the ability to tap into the powers of other Ultras, that's what they say it does. It's inherited technique, space martial arts, whatever, right? But I would say be a little more specific than that. Have maybe heroic traits, or I guess Ultraman X uses monster parts, which sounds like a really great idea. I think they're called cyber arms, and he gets kaiju parts for weapons. That's super dope. I would say, why not just have Zett have a similar ability, perhaps, that either the Zett Riser channels power of these Ultras and it gives him one of their attributes, or maybe let's say you get 3 of them who are known for being strong, or being fast, or being great flyers, or having ranged weapons, or whatever. You get 3 Ultramen who harmonize across the Ultra series, and you pick a trait to concentrate on, and you say, okay, the contribution of these Ultramen, given willingly, it opens up a limited channel of power, and it allows this guy to, through the Zett Riser, have the ability to either do a thing, it either turns into a weapon, a different type of weapon, or it turns into some sort of armor piece, or maybe even I don't know, he gets someone's legs, or their Ace's head blade, or whatever, which he kind of has the 2 Zero has, which is interesting when he becomes Alpha Edge, because Zett himself just has a single fin, not the double. So you could just play with his physiology some more and give him different armors, themed after the different Ultras, and I think that would be a lot cooler, and it would almost be a acknowledgement that he's nascent in his power, and he's, growing and training and developing himself as an Ultraman, and like, I don't know, like almost give him like a sampler platter of move sets that he can have channeled through the Zett Riser, and then like vanilla Zett will have those intrinsically without a Zett Riser, because I don't know that they, like, if Zett appears in other things like the Absolute Charters or the Absolute Conspiracy, that kind of thing. Absolute Conspiracy. Like, when he appears in that, I don't think he has the Zett Riser anymore, and he doesn't use it. He just uses his powers however he does. And, like, I don't know, that's a silly inconsistency that I really don't get. And so, anyway, getting back to it and focusing a little bit more, I think I've determined he has 15 medals right now, plus he has the spear. I would say, so far he's got a sword, he's got a spear, Gamma Future has like weird magic powers that it gives him, so that's 3 weapons. Let's say every 3 medals gives him 1 like big power set. You could basically have like 5 weapons that he has. You could give him, so I'd said keep the sword, give him a spear, or keep the spear but transfer it to the Zett Riser, because that just makes more sense and it makes the toy like more appealing. So I can kind of understand the medals are done for collectability, which I'm fine with them using toys to sell, or using the thing as a toy selling platform. But like, I don't know, make it make more sense. Like, they have like recolors of the Zett Riser, with the dark one, the dark Zett Riser that Juggler uses and stuff. That's fine, that's cool. But like, I don't know, you can just make them parallel and have his make him into different monsters. Like, that's cool, that works for him. But like, I don't know, thematically, it feels better since Zett is so obsessed with these other heroes, which I could see he's using the power of these heroes. But like, if he gets weapons and he like emulates these heroes instead with the weaponry that he gets, and you kind of just ditch the form thing, I just feel like that would be better. That makes a lot more sense to me. But anyway, you give him a sword, you can give him a spear, which the spear is also like a bow and arrow, and it shoots ice stuff out of it. The sword is like a cool laser sword. You can give him like a fire weapon or a lightning weapon. I would say like a whip. So we got sword, spear, whip. Maybe it's just like a almost like just like a hand blade, like a dagger type thing at first. Like, just the edge of it is a thing that he can use, and it's like his default weapon when he gets desperate. So you've got the plain Zett Riser, then you've got plus whatever to become a sword, then it becomes a spear, then it becomes maybe separately from the spear, the bow and arrow, and then like a whip. That way he doesn't have to have like a gun. You can give him the bow and arrow, or it can be like a crossbow or something like that. I think 5 weapons. I think those are cool. Those are unique. If you could relate them to Ultras, again, I don't know Ultra history, so I can't tell you that. I'm, a relative noob to Ultraman, and it's a little dense, or a little difficult to like, they all look the same, like it's hard to tell the difference between them. And I haven't like wikied a bunch of it like I have with Kamen Rider over the years. But then again, I've been interested deeply in Kamen Rider for like 13 years, and Ultraman for like a couple. So it's kind of weird to me. But yeah, I think it'd be super cool. Dagger, or it's like a little hand blade, a knife, right? Then it's a sword, then it's a spear, which are just longer versions. Then it's a whip, then it's, I don't know, man, like a mace or something. A mace would be cool, but maybe they didn't want it to feel too much like Ultraman X, but just like, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me what they're doing with it. And then it kind of feels like I would like it if they did that better, because it wouldn't feel like he has all this power. It feels like he has like, tools in his toolkit that he can whip out and switch through when he needs a better one. And it just, I don't know, it would feel like it's less power, because like Beta Smash feels like he's supposed to be this really strong physical fighter. Gamma Future feels like he's just like a more powerful, like ranged fighter almost, sort of, with the duplicates and stuff. I don't know, it's just kind of weird how that all works out, and I just think it's kind of strange. So those are my thoughts on some of the problems with Zett and how they designed the toy line, and how you could fix it instead. But then maybe again, I should just go watch Ultraman X. But X didn't come out this year, or in 2019 or whatever, when Zett did, or Z and Zett did. But whatever. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and you can check out all my stuff in the show notes, including my children's picture book manuscript, inspired by Ultraman. It's called Ava and the Grow Bug, and I have a better version of it that I'm working on, or that I've already edited and improved and made adjustments to, and you're getting the beta version of it. It might be a smash to read. You never know. So you might want to check that out. And you can look forward to the Gamma Future where I'll have a better version of Ava and the Growbug out, along with other Growbug books, which are also inspired by Tokusatsu, but other things like Godzilla and Kamen Rider and Super Sentai and Digimon, which I can explain why I would call that Tokusatsu, but, I'll do that later. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Be well, folks, and this is MJ signing out. I hope you enjoyed that. Go to mjmunoz.com to leave any questions, comments, or other feedback you might have. There you can find all of my analysis, art, and fiction. I cover books, tokusatsu, comic books, anime, and more. Look around. You're sure to find something else that you'll enjoy as well. This has been a Story Over Everything production.